So let's talk about what you can really do with China and what the state of play is with somebody who understands. Gordon Chang, author of Plan Red, China's Project to Destroy America. By the way, he doesn't believe Trump should be lowering the tariffs on China. Why? He joins me now. Gordo, it's been way too long. It's great to have you here at NewsNation. Thank you for joining me.
Well, thank you so much, Chris. I really appreciate it.
So tell my audience, how does China react to what Trump is doing right now? What does this signal to them and why?
You know, you were absolutely right. What it signals to the Chinese is that Trump chickened out. Now, I'm not saying that that's right, but I'm saying that's what the Chinese think. And that's what's critical, because it's going to make China even more difficult to deal with. Got to remember that Xi Jinping has configured the Chinese political system so that only the most hostile answers are considered acceptable. So a trade deal with China was always going to be extremely difficult to put together. And Trump has just made it much more difficult to do that by, I think, misguided comments from the Treasury Secretary and from Trump himself in the last couple of days, because it shows China, oh, look, if we just hold out, the Americans will make preemptive concessions. And this was something like he did with the Ukraine war. And that one hasn't worked out either. So Putin isn't giving up, and neither is Xi Jinping.
Yeah, actually, on our watch tonight, a drone attack from the Russians in Kyiv, in the capital city, has hurt at least a dozen. Reports are still coming in about it. So, you know, it seems like all the bad guys are getting their way. Let's talk about what can be done about it. When it comes to China, he doesn't have to worry about elections. He doesn't have to worry about his people being pissed off at him. He doesn't have to worry about political opposition. He doesn't have to worry about his currency. He can manipulate his own currency. So what would be a way for America to get back leverage against the Chinese?
I think that there's a simple thing he could do. For instance, you know, we know that the Chinese refuse to take delivery of Boeing aircraft. That actually hurts China more than it hurts us. And if I were Trump, I would just say, look, okay, I'm prohibiting Boeing from selling you aircraft, but more important, I'm not selling you aircraft parts, or I'm not permitting Boeing to provide services for Boeing planes that China owns. This is going to hurt China a lot. And it would show, the more important thing is not the practical effect, which I think would be great, but the most important thing is it would be a demonstration of political will, which was your point, which I think is absolutely well taken, because it does show the state of mind. Once you show that you're willing to fight, go toe-to-toe, the Chinese, I think, will back down, because they've got some really serious problems right now in their economy. And so they can't afford to continue this much longer. But they can, I think, believe that they can hold out.
We should borrow from the Chinese their commitment to STEM education and building businesses through government sponsorship and training academies and making corporations train workers there for high-level STEM jobs. That's good. What we should do with our own people, Gordo, what do you think of this last idea? The reason that China is where they are is because we enabled it, all right? Since 2001, everybody looks at 2001 as the 9/11 year, but that's when China got into the WTO, and all of these American corporate concerns fled over there for an easy and cheaper existence. What is wrong with saying, fine, China's going to do what they're going to do, but you American companies that are there, you got to give to get access to the American market. You got to give in terms of where you make things and who you use and how you pay. What's wrong with doing that? China does.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I love your point about education, because remember in 1958, the year after the Sputnik launch, President Eisenhower sponsored the National Defense Education Act. That was STEM. And that actually, I think, revitalized the American educational system. So those are things that we absolutely need to do. You know, it's great in the sense that these companies are committing trillions of dollars actually to build manufacturing in the US, but we don't have the people to staff them. And one of the critical things is TSMC, the Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, committed another $65 billion to build 5 fabs in North Phoenix. But the question is, do we have the workers for 5 more facilities? I'm not so sure that we do. And your point about national education is absolutely spot on. That's how we solve this long term. But yes, we need to get started.
Gordon Chang, thank you for the insight. It's so great to have you back on a television screen with me. What a gift to my audience. Thank you for being with us, and I'll talk to you again soon.
What a gift for me. So thank you very much, Chris.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.